So, hello and welcome to CamFM's annual report 2014. This is a report all about the CamFM committee activities during the year 2014. So, the CamFM committee was voted in 2014. Here are a list of the current members in February 2015. Other than that, we also had a selection of consultants and various other people helping us throughout the year. We had a little bit of turnover in the committee. We'll be talking a bit about that later, but it's mostly due to graduations and things like that. So this report is going to cover, first of all, the progress we've made as a team this year, some of the events we've covered, some of the setbacks we've experienced, ongoing work that the next year's team are going to have to continue for us, and finally the financial report that you've all been waiting for. I'm going to let you know now, as a bit of a spoiler, we made a profit this year, so it's a bit exciting. You'll have to wait to find out how much though. So, first of all, the progress we've made this year as a team. So, when I started as a manager, I decided that our focus, for the start of the year especially, would be on helping to improve the quality of service CamFM provides to its paying membership. So these are the presenters that we train up and put on air. This would help us, firstly, in revenue of having members who are engaged in helping to promote the show, hopefully improve the content quality and the reach and the impact of any output that our members are creating. So we decided that we would provide a great selection of events for members, which we'll be talking about later, and that we'd help improve communications between the members and the committee to sort of get rid of the separation between the committee members who are working hard to do a whole variety of things and the members who are working on their own individual projects, and try and pull everybody up to get everybody engaged with our wide variety of projects. So the big difference that was made this year was that in November we hosted an EGM and we voted in a brand new CamFM constitution. Among a variety of other things, this constitution saw us focusing more on our operations as a company rather than a society, and it also saw a change to the committee structure. So instead of having a one layer, this is the committee, this is the members, we've got a more integrated hierarchy so that hopefully we'll be able to pull more people up and promote a bit more communication between the members of the committee and reduce the separation. This constitution, like I said, was voted in November. We had a fantastic EGM, which was very long, very boring, and involved going through the full 22-page document word for word, but it was worth it because we now have a very solid constitution which looks to the long-term benefit of the society and of the company, to hopefully see that CamFM will continue onwards for quite a while. In terms of communicating with members, we also introduced very early on in the committee term the CamFM newsletter. So this is what it looks like at the moment, and the idea with the newsletter was to help consolidate communications between the members. So rather than having each individual committee member trying to plug their individual opportunity to each member over a variety of emails throughout the week, we decided to consolidate them into one email so that membership knew exactly what was going on. Every week they could look through a variety of opportunities available to them and pick the one that interested them most. It was developed as well to help the committee know what was going on, to help pull members up, and it has been used as of late as a way to communicate to the members what the committee is up to as well. So the more recent newsletters have had at the bottom a section where we list the committee agenda discussion items for that week, so that members know exactly what we're discussing and that we're working in their interests week in, week out. And it's also highlighted for them the fact that they can come along to committee meetings, and every week we ask for them to request to come along, and we have had quite a few members taking us up on that. So it's great, we're helping to improve communication by using that. Also, fun fact, whatever browser you look at the newsletter in, it changes width. It's pretty full, pretty funky. Okay, we also conducted a membership survey for the first time in May. This is some of the results from it. It was very positive. It focused a lot on how happy people are with the work of the committee and how happy they were with the communications, and we've got loads of great feedback, mostly focusing on how clean the studios are. I thought I'd include this screenshot because it just includes this lovely quote: "No, I love CamFM." Just asking if any members have any problems. So that's nice to know. But we went further than that as well. Right at the beginning of the year, we developed the buddying system for training. So this was sort of informally, we noticed that Certain trainees, if they were having any problems or they were a bit shaky, were contacting individual members of the committee that they may have met through their training or who they knew personally from outside of CamFM. And we realised that by formalising this, it will really level the playing field for communication between members in the committee, and it will help any new members in boosting their involvement in the station straight away. Right when we started, it was highlighted to us that as a society we had a problem with training up people who were then not going that extra little bit and making that final push to fill out the paperwork and become paying members of CamFM and getting on air and presenting their own show, despite the fact that they had all of the expertise available to them and that they had a dedicated team there to help make sure that that would happen. So we tried a variety of things to make this happen. Buddying was one of the big ones. We also automated the membership system. So we rearranged the training. We'll be talking a bit about the training revamp in a second. But one of the big rearrangements was that now when a trainee turns up to their assessment, they have to bring all of the paperwork with them to become a member, and they become a member that very day. This is just a screenshot of a widget that's on the training site for the head of membership to use to help track that the payment has been received, that they've now got a login on the main website, things like that that usually were the responsibility of the member are now part of the committee responsibility, and it's really helped to streamline that process. In terms of the whole training website, oh yes, also in terms of paperwork, we've developed a membership rules agreement. So we now hold our members contractually. They have signed an agreement that states that they will comply to Ofcom guidelines, which means that we're protecting ourselves just that little bit more from getting shut down by Ofcom, because we're able to formalise our discipline procedures. If somebody was to swear on air or would do something wrong, we say, you signed a document that said you wouldn't do this. It makes it much easier for us to implement any discipline, which is a sad thing to have to talk about, but it's true, it is a problem for us. Okay, moving on, let's talk about nicer things. Training website. This is a really bad example because I don't actually do any training at the moment. But the training website was completely revamped by Jacob in 2014, and it is so easy to use for both trainers and trainees alike. Huge benefits include automated allocation of sessions, so now the head of training doesn't have to go through and by hand allocate people based on their availability. For a trainee and a trainer as well, you have a lot more control over selecting your sessions. Trainees can actually rearrange their own sessions, so if they're unable to make a session, they can just go on the website and select a new one. And it's reduced the amount of time and effort put into scheduling training. It means that trainees are more engaged with the whole system, and it's just absolutely fantastic. It's really made life easier for us. And it includes a lot more information as well. We've included a lot more information as well in a brand new training document, which is given to every trainee when they start. So that's exciting. Talking about training, all of this change has led to some fantastic figures, which I thought I'd show to you. These are all really great, but I just thought I'd highlight this one down at the bottom here. So these are actually the figures from last week, and in the meantime we've had probably about 10 or 20 more people training. So last week, the total people trained in this committee year was 217, which is absolutely fantastic. This is more people than were in the society when I joined. Ben Weiss thinks it's about 4 times the amount of people who were in the society when I joined in 2011 who have been trained this year. Not just members, people who have been trained, brand new people joining us. So that's really exciting, and it's really great. They're a great source of revenue, they're a great source of content. It's all about what CamFM is about. We're a training station. We've trained people. Our Ofcom guideline for how many people we have to train is 30 people. So we've exceeded that. We've exceeded our Ofcom agreement, and that's great. We're also now constantly monitoring trainees, so after they finish the system, there is a feedback form that they fill out. And over the year, I've heard from Jacob and his feedback that this has been consistently rising in quality, especially in trainees saying that they're finding the system enjoyable. So that's great news over there. Basically, training, tick, did a good job. Moving on. All of this training has, of course, fed directly into content on our station, and this is what we're all about. This is just a snapshot of Jack's Lent term schedule. So this is just the weekly schedule, and this is an incredible 134 hours of content. As you can see, most days we're going solidly through from 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. Live original content, which is absolutely fantastic. In Michaelmas we hit 128.5 hours a week, and in vacations, which is traditionally a sticky time for us, we're hitting over 25 hours regularly a week. So that's great. Also in Michaelmas there was a point where our hours exceeded the amount of original broadcast content that BBC Cambridgeshire is producing, which means that we became the biggest Cambridge-based radio station on FM right now, which is just so exciting, a great fact. We produce the most content in Cambridge. That's great. In terms of the actual variety and content, we have a great selection of regular shows here on Cam FM. During the week, you can see absolutely everything, and this year we've helped to develop and support all sorts of different initiatives, including in our drama and speech content. We have a partnership with the incredible Short Legs Presents. They're creating some great audio dramas. We have secured our relationship with the TAB, the Cambridge Student and Varsity newspapers, not to mention the Union. We have a great content feed from them. In terms of music, we have a great selection of regular music shows. Loads of those contain interviews. Matt Kent, head of music, gave me a nice list to read out to you. So our music interviews this year have included Prides, Wolf Alice, Sivu, Marika Hackman, and Hudson Taylor. Here's a picture of Matt with Hudson Taylor last week. And we've also had a huge variety of live sessions from local Cambridge band. That's Tape Runs Out. And Sandy has taken over Cam FM Breakthrough, our new and emerging music show, to make it a really excellent flagship show full of new and emerging Cambridge local music, including a whole variety of live sessions. We've also seen the amount of specialist evening music shows increasing, with shows from Big Fish Ents, some great DJs. Entertainment shows have just absolutely exploded, and the quality of those has just been getting better and better. And for the first time ever, we have 2 dedicated sports shows on Cam FM. So that is really great news for the variety and the quality of content that we have going out week on week. In terms of the impact this has had on listener figures though, and this is going to put a bit of downer on the growth that we've been having lately, but as you can see, this is our total weekly listener hours, and this stretches all the way back to the end of 2012 over there. These large peaks here are some of our outside broadcasts, which we'll be discussing later. But other than that, you can see that our listener figures have not really been increasing significantly. This dip here is just over the new year, and this dip here is just because I calculate these figures at the beginning of the week, so don't worry about that. This is slightly disappointing considering the growth of content we've been having on the station, but we'll be talking a bit about why that has been happening lately. I just thought I'd zoom in on a highlight from this year, so this committee year in particular, and you can see the impact that outside broadcast has on our listener figures. So, like I said, we'll be discussing that later. But on a more positive note, on a graph that's going up, here is our Facebook. A big focus for us, of course, as a digital media organisation is our online reach. So this shows, during our committee year, the total page likes on Facebook. Ella, our head of communications and publicity, had a target of 4,500 likes by the time she left the committee, and we have nearly reached 4,300, so that's pretty good. As you can see, when we started over in February, we were at just below 3,000 likes. So we've seen a steady increase, and that increase is getting bigger and bigger. Also, in terms of what is generating those likes, you can see these are the sort of net likes per day or something. These here are, again, our big outside broadcasts. This is May Bumps, which we'll be talking about later. You can also see, though, that May Bumps generates our biggest number of unlikes in the year. Some people just don't like rowing, I guess, but that's something that we're going to have to look at over the next year and maybe look into a bit more. In terms of reach, this is something that we've been working on. We've been experimenting with different ways of getting people to see our posts more and more, and it's been steadily increasing throughout the year. This graph's very difficult to see, but in the beginning of 2014, we were at 1,500 average post reach. At the end, we were on 2,160. So that's just getting bigger and bigger. As a society, we're learning how to get our stuff out there on Facebook and seen. And as this grows, hopefully the number of likes will grow as well. In terms of Twitter, it's doing really well. We have more followers than people were following, so that's a good thing. We're finding that members are engaging more with our Twitter. We're retweeting them when they talk about their show. Yeah, we're doing a good job there, I think. It's okay. Similarly, on the note of online reach, in May or June, we celebrated the launch of Cantap. This is an app developed by a friend of the station, Phil Ashworth. It features all of the media organisations in Cambridge and everything they've published in a quick RSS feed. And then if you swipe right, you get a live player of Cam FM on your iOS device. So that has seen our reach spread. For anybody who's interested in Cambridge media, has an instant access to our content and what we're producing live on the station. And they get to look at the webcam in the studio as well. So it's very cool. Also, on the website, a big aim of mine was to increase the amount of content we were publishing on the website. So when we were on the committee last year, we found that there was only a small selection of people who were creating things to go up on the homepage and making things on the website. And you can look at the admin back end of the website and see that most of it goes sort of published by Tim O'Brien, February hits. And then we have a better selection of people coming through, and we've been pushing from different areas of the station to try and get more published online to help our reach, to help our shareability as a website on Facebook, Twitter, etc. So Jack Ransom has been doing an absolutely fantastic job of pushing more news content onto the website. He's been taking small clips from any shows that he's produced and putting them on with a short write-up. So it means that people click through if they're interested in hearing more about any relevant Cambridge-based news and beyond, in fact. It's great. Music, we had a great initiative where we had a Throwback Thursday. We have a great back catalogue of interviews with various artists on Cam FM, and we used Thursdays to publish those on the website and get those shared throughout Facebook and things. And in the What's On, you can see at the moment we're doing the countdown to Lent Bumps right now. So that has been going on, and yeah, it's been increasing slowly but surely, and it's helping our coverage on Cantap, it's helping our Facebook look more engaging, and it's helping our webpage look fuller. It's great. Also, in terms of progress, all of this growth and content couldn't happen if the structure wasn't in place to make sure that it could happen. So we had a little bit of a redevelopment of some of our systems, specifically the studios. So this was in April 2014, sorry. Our tech team decided to take this horrible old studio and make it into this, and they did it overnight as well. And we now have a beautiful top-of-the-range studio in Anglia Ruskin. Similarly, just last month, they decided to do the same thing, but with Fitzwilliam, which was quite grimy, quite horrible, ripped it all out, took about 3 days. We have a beautiful new studio, and what's best is that they're both coherent. They are almost exactly the same. So as a training station, we're seeing the quality of what we're able to teach people how to do increase, because it means that they aren't changing from desk to desk whilst they're first getting involved in radio. And the capabilities of what we can do in both of those studios is slowly but surely increasing as we introduce more microphones and basic things like that. So we're now completely digitised across the desks, and yeah, coherent. It's great. We also, very excitingly, developed a brand new source of revenue for the station this year by partnering with Big Fish Ents and beginning to put on a regular club night. So this was initiated in June, when we moved our traditional Suicide Sunday party to Lola's with Big Fish Ents, and it was a massive success. We had a silent disco on the terrace, as you can see, and this meant that when we came back in October, we introduced Radio Gaga, Cam FM's club night, in conjunction with Secret Discotheque on Sundays at Lola's. This has since moved to Wednesdays at Fairs, and it is a great regular source of income for the station. Every week it means that we're getting a little bit of money in, no matter what, and we're putting in a lot of work. It means that any DJs associated with Cam FM will get a chance to DJ for a Cambridge University student club night as well. So it's very exciting. But let's move on to what takes up quite a lot of our time. So in terms of creating value for membership as well, we decided to help put on a lot more events to help them engage with us for us to learn more about them, what they're wanting to do with the station, just a communication and coordination within us as a big team. And mostly this has just involved pub meets regularly. We also have continued to develop Cam FM Presents. Earlier in the year we had a great selection of live music nights in the vaults with a variety of Cambridge-based bands and London-based bands actually, student and non-student alike. It was really fantastic. And further than that, we also decided to help develop the training of members on Cam FM. So previously, you would do your Cam FM training, and unless you got involved in some of the bigger broadcasts or became a member of the committee and expanded yourself, you weren't really getting much further than that. So at the beginning of the year, we set up the initiative of Cam FM workshops. And we've had quite a bit of success with these. We've put on a whole host of varieties. So just these ones here, you can see this is Jared doing a workshop earlier this year in how to produce jingles. We have Ben here. This is our first ever workshop. He's teaching us how to make documentaries and long form and short form news broadcasting. And over here, beginning of the 2014-15 academic year, we did a DJ workshop. So some of us went to Lolo's one evening and learned how to mix. It was really fun. We've also had ones from Zoe Tomlin on how to produce drama content. We had Emma Snook, Matt Kent and Sandy Mill doing a big workshop on how to produce music content for radio. Tim Davies has done one on how to make the most of the Cam FM website, because that was a bit of a sticking point for a lot of our members. And Benedict Smith did just a quick introduction to audio production for anybody interested in starting to make their own jingles and things like that. We also, for the first time ever, introduced the idea of Cam FM Christmas party, and this coincided with our first ever Cam FM awards ceremony. So we hosted an award ceremony in Newnham Bar, had quite a bit of champagne and celebrated being a part of Cam FM and celebrated any members and committee members who we thought were doing a great job of being on radio, helping to make radio happen and being a great member of the team. We also, in the summer, had the first ever Cam FM members photo, just for a bit of prosperity. We had a nice summer's day out in the Newnham Gardens, and the photo now features on the wall of the Maypole pub, where we spent quite a bit of time. So that is there for everybody to remember this incredible year by. Also, we've helped to develop our links with BBC Cambridgeshire, so that our members are having a direct link with a career in the industry of radio whilst being involved with Cam FM. So the BBC Cambridgeshire agreement means that a selection of our members are getting trained by BBC Cambridgeshire on how to use their equipment. They're getting and making content with BBC Cams, they're getting training, they're getting placements. We basically have a really good relationship, and we work with them in various events and stuff in the future as well. This is a photo of me getting really giddy behind a BBC desk a few months ago. That was pretty fun. So, I've been mentioning quite a bit big broadcasts and how much of an impact they have on us as a station and what we do throughout the year. Cam FM calendar has been pretty big, pretty full this year, mostly surrounding May bumps. All of those peaks you saw on the listener figures, the Facebook graphs, that's about May bumps. So this is such a big event for us, and this year we decided to have a little bit of a revamp as well to improve the quality of it, and some people have called it the best May bumps yet. It was pretty fun. So first of all, we started by looking at the content that was surrounding the actual sports broadcast. So online, we introduced the flashback system. So this is where with 2 weeks to go before the bumps, we start posting little audio clips of previous broadcasts. And it means that people are engaging with the station and learning about what we do for when the event actually comes around. We're in their mind. The Facebook reach on those is absolutely incredible. People are sharing them across the place because it often involves previous events that people are involved in, and it's a really good way of reaching them. We, in terms of the content surrounding on the day, the studio anchors now have a set of pre-recorded interviews and games surrounding the broadcast and rowing for them set up on the day. So studio anchors change throughout. May once last the week, studio anchors change day on day. Previous years we'd seen a real lack of coherency, and the quality of the broadcast was all over the place from day to day. So we introduced pre-recorded interviews and games to help make sure that the quality stayed consistent, and it worked. It was great, it was fun. As a studio anchor, it was the most enjoyable May bumps I've done yet. It meant that when I was getting there on the day, I knew exactly what was going on. The whole team was engaged. People from all the different days knew exactly what each other were doing, and it worked really well. And yeah, we got a lot of positive feedback from that event, so that was fun. Other sports, it's been an incredible year for sports broadcast on CamFM. We've been building our relationships with so many different societies across both universities. Some of the highlights, of course, we had Lent bumps as well as May bumps. We had the Henley boat races up here, which was a lovely day out on the Henley River. And this was made even better by the organiser contacting us the week afterwards, letting us know that she's interested in our relationship with them being permanent. So year on year, we're now going to have Henley as a great broadcast for everybody to get involved in. Varsity football, varsity cricket, varsity rugby, both the men's match in Twickenham and the women's match in Oxford, and the football cuppers, just some of the events we've been involved in. I think that might be all of them actually, I'm not sure. There were so many. Also, yes, should mention the American Football Varsity. So this is first for us as a station as well, because we joined with the American Football Society, who had come up with the idea of live streaming the match over YouTube. So they set up a video and they laid our commentary over the top, and we shared that video as well, and it meant that people could go on YouTube, click play, and live as it was happening, listen to our commentary laid over a video of the match. And it was great, and the engagement we had with that was so much better than just doing the audio as well. We had some real boffins listening in, including one who commented that this CamFM commentary is better than most of the American football UK commentators. So that was really, really, really exciting, and we're going to adopt this system of live streaming matches into a couple of other broadcasts that we're planning in the future. So watch this space. That's really exciting, and it's a brand new thing that we've learned how to do. We also covered so many other things: Water Sprite, the big film festival in Cambridge, the opening of Relevant Records, a nice live music event, our collaboration with Strawberries and Cream, Pint of Science, World College Radio Day, and of course Freshers Fair and Arrivals Weekend, and that big moment where all of the first years arrive in Cambridge and we need them to feel welcome and get to know who we are. So we splashed out on the coverage this year. We covered both Freshers Fair and the Arrival Weekend, and it was an absolutely excellent broadcast with so much content. And it was pretty fun to be involved with as well, a good welcome back to university for all of us. And of course, can't mention big broadcasts without mentioning Air League. So this was a day in June where a group of us went down to an airfield in Bicester and had a chance to fly in a glider whilst making radio. It was absolutely fantastic, and you can see Benedict and Tom smiling there with their pilot as they fly over Oxford. They interviewed him in the plane and then broadcast that, of course. But we also did a live link from inside a glider. Tim Davies went up in the air, and then we contacted him on the radio, and he described to us what was happening, and it was great. We broadcast from in the air, guys. It was pretty fun. But it's not been all fun and games, unfortunately. We do have to talk about some of the setbacks we've had throughout the year. They've been minimal, I'd say, but they've still been hard-hitting when they've happened. So right at the start of the year, we had a decline in the news team in terms of interest, content being produced, commitment to the news team took an absolute nosedive, and it was very frustrating to try and pull it up to what it had been in previous years. Jack Ranson, though, came in at the beginning of this academic year and has done an absolutely fantastic job of reinstating an excellent news team, very dynamic, and slowly bringing back our hourly news bulletins. So that's hopefully not going to be a problem anymore. We hit a massive sticking point at the beginning of this year as well with the distribution of membership cards. As I mentioned at the beginning, we automated our membership and training system so much that when it came to the only manual section left, which is the distribution of membership, the production and distribution of membership cards, we couldn't do it fast enough, and it meant that we had a whole host of members who couldn't access our studios when they were supposed to. It's lasted longer than it should have. It's been quite a strain on committee time and committee patience, trying to get all of these people membership cards or just access to the studios. So that's a big problem. Hopefully we're tackling that. We've recently purchased a card printing machine, so that system's going to hopefully catch up with the automation of the training system. We also lost our contract for Varsity Trip 2014 coverage and promotion, but I'm optimistic personally that we'll be able to get that again for 2015, but it was a shame to lose it at the time. As I mentioned at the beginning, we had a lot of changeover in the committee, just with graduation, people coming in and out of different roles. We've not struggled too much because of it, but it is disruptive at the time, obviously, when it happens. Garden party, for the second year in a row, we didn't get this off the ground in time. It's an idea that we've had for quite a while of hosting a CamFM party, obviously because we have the capabilities to put on live music events, we know what we're doing to organise events, and it makes sense, really. Festival press passes. A couple of years ago, we seemed to be swimming in festival coverage for our music team. Unfortunately, that didn't happen this year. We struggled quite a bit to get some press passes. We also, over the summer, produced an incredible 50 Student Radio Association Award entries. I was so proud of everybody involved in getting those 50 entries produced and sent off. They were of incredible quality and they were really good. And honestly, if I could, I would have put this in the progress section because we did a really good job of that. But unfortunately, we weren't nominated for anything and none of those awards went anywhere. Bit of a setback, but I think we're stronger for it. On that note though, we did have a couple of individual successes and awards. So firstly, you probably all know about Finn getting his Radio Academy Award earlier in 2014. He won a bronze for Best Speech Personality. It was an absolutely incredible moment for us as a station and for Finn himself, of course. There he is beaming and holding his award. Also, Anand, a CamFM alumnus, now at Imperial College, working for Imperial College Radio, won a gold Student Radio Award for his production called Sound in Silence. Just check I got that right? Yes, I did. So congratulations, Anand, as an alumni. We trained him, so we're still claiming that as one of ours. Yeah, so before we move on, when I was creating this presentation, I had a little look at our annual report from last year, and I found this nice slide, which is the issues moving forward, as highlighted by last year's committee. And it was very interesting. As you can see, they cover maximising advertising potential and making a profit, which, as I mentioned right at the beginning, we have done. Smoothing studio access issues and improving the fit studio, we did that. Ensuring past trainees ending up on air, we definitely did that. Maintaining active and effective training systems, yeah, we revamped all of those. Keep appealing to a wide audience by involving student groups. So, comedians, sports people, journalists, student politicians, etc. And as I mentioned, with the variety of content we are creating on the station, I think we've managed that. The only thing I would say, we've completed all of these, but at the detriment of other areas of the station. As you saw earlier, our listener figures haven't seen a sizable increase despite other areas of growth within the station. And I would say that that's probably because as a team and as a committee and me as manager, I've been focusing on the internal development and structures of the station and less on the external reach and relations with the student body and our target audience. So I guess that's food for thought for the next year's committee. Talking about next year's committee, still a lot of work to be done on a variety of projects that we started this year but haven't yet completed. So, for example, the CamFM website. This has been a bit of a sticking point for us as we've seen a whole host of Cambridge societies developing new websites over the past year, and we have seen ours sort of fall behind and look quite a bit dated. But we have the designs ready to implement for a brand new website, and I'm told that it will be in by the end of February. It's very modern, it's not too disruptive from our previous design, but it also changes with width, which means that it will be mobile friendly, so it's a reactive design, and it's really, really exciting. There's also a whole load of other things. Alumni relations was something that I really, really wanted to look into. We developed a framework for it towards the end of last year, but it had to be put to one side in order to host the EGM and get the constitution written up and introduced by before the new year. So that's ready and raring to go, and we will implement that as soon as possible. CamFM Presents needs revamping again because of the changeover in management and structure of Vaults, which is the venue we used to use. Hampstead Stands are interested in partnering with us, so we need to look into that as well. Third recording space, we've said for a while now that we would like a recording space to help free up studio time for training. At the moment, a lot of pre-recording time is being taken up by our drama and comedy content, and we know that we can free up so much space if we do that. Ofcom renewal still needs to be done. We need to renew our FM licence. Listenership survey is really long overdue and that needs to be implemented as soon as possible. Top of the hour imaging, this is underway. We've recorded some new imaging that needs to be finally produced and implemented as soon as possible. And we have a whole load of upcoming outside broadcasts to do. Night at the Museum with the University of Cambridge Museums event. Water Sprite Festival again. We've got the women's rugby underway. As I mentioned, we're going to be adopting the video streaming, fingers crossed, for that broadcast. So that's very exciting. Henley again, and the BBC Cambridgeshire partnership with the Cambridge Marathon, and other things like that, on and on really. Right, it's time to end on finances now. So, as I mentioned, we made a profit this year, which is absolutely fantastic. Benedict put together this short profit and loss statement. As you can see, this year we spent an incredible £11,787.30. We did have a lot of expenditure this year due to some sort of financial flukes and things getting carried on into this committee year. We actually ended up paying for 3 full studio rebuilds this year, which is how our expenditure is so much. And also, we've done so much growth in other areas. But we've definitely made a profit because our total income for this year is £13,475.90. And this is due mostly to the incredible work of Alex Spencer and his sponsorship agreements. He's created some great relationships with the station, with people like EY and Teach First and a whole variety of different clients who have been helping to provide revenue for the station. Also, our membership growth has seen more membership fees coming into the station. Like I said, the club night with Big Fish Ents. We've been getting small amounts of money coming into the station, and ultimately this means that we made a net profit of £1,688.60, which is great. I'm happy with that. We made a profit. That's fine. So yeah, to end the report, I just thought I'd end on a little bit of sentimentality. This is a picture of when I joined the Caravan Committee in 2012. A lot has changed since then. It's been really great in being involved in all of that. Here's the team from this year, just one last time. It's been a fantastic year. We've done so much, and it's all come out well because we made a profit and we grew, and there's still loads to be focused on, but it's good that we're aware of that, I guess. So yeah, thank you very much.